Alright, what's going on, guys? It is a little broomstick here. Wanted to make a quick video about something that's really been on my mind, which has been the current state of boomer to zoomer welfare, I guess we'll call it. But honestly, I have a millennial sister, and she's millennial, so you could call it like boomer to zillennial, boomer. I guess you even got Gen Alpha adults now, right? People over 18 in Gen Alpha, and they're having the same issue. And I'm going to describe it as is, right? I tried to talk about this on Thomas White, one of my Thomas White appearances way back in the day. But I think the way the world is and the economy is right now, essentially we live like it's more of a have or have not kind of economy than I think it's ever been, pretty much. I think that's why the rates of homelessness are going up. Some people can't afford certain foods and stuff as food prices go up. So it's either you have certain things or you don't have certain things. And one thing I think is huge is, over CV19, the value of the dollar got really diluted. So it's one of those classic situations that we've been seeing this trend since like the 1980s, where the wages have kind of stagnated out while the inflation has gone way, way up. The housing prices, cost of living has gone way, way up. Even if you look in a 5-year stretch, guys, there are homes that were bought for like $250,000, $250K, and they can sell now for like $400K, $500,000. And the only people who had access to these kinds of places, for the most part, were either like, corporate interests, Blackstone, BlackRock, all these other entities, or it was the boomers. And the boomers are a generation where, they're not downsizing as they're getting older. It's about, even as they're getting older and more sick, it's like, can I move into a bigger house? Can I get a second property? I've heard stories of like boomers taking out reverse mortgages. So apparently they're pulling liquidity from the home and like pre-selling the home. It's not like they're passing it down in a trust to younger generation, anyone, blood family members and stuff. So, it's obvious we're seeing like immense greed from the boomer populace, just like in general, right? But something that's been on my mind is I've also seen all these stats of, Gen Alpha, Zoomers, Millennials. Like on average, these boomers will give these guys like $1,000. I think it was like $1,000 a month or something like that. Like they're handing it out. And I'm definitely like a victim of this. I was talking in my previous videos about how I'm mooching and basement maxing, living with parents maxing, those kinds of things, right? And I think, definitely like, I don't know how to feel about this, is what I'm trying to say, because I'm one of those guys. I've also, had my own job, paid my own rent before, had my own place before. And there was a huge sense of like accomplishment that came with that, a sense of me doing something, right? With this though, my current situation, even though I say I'm very minimalist, like I'm not like spending too much money. I'm not doing as much as I was doing when I was working. Like when I was working out, I actually I had certain activities I would plan on the weekends, go out and do. I went to a lot of like comedy shows and stuff like that. So I was outside doing stuff, going out with friends. We'd go to dinners, but I don't do not nearly as much of that anymore. I remember I was talking with Rope Fuel on stream last night, and we were talking about like the social pill. But the truth about the social pill is like social life is very expensive, guys, if you're trying to be on that kind of stuff. But how do you guys feel about that? Like this notion, I think the honest stat I saw was $1,100 a month. Like that, and this is like an average kind of thing. Like, I don't know if it was like those surveyed or what. This is another thing, I want to like pull stats and put them in the description. But it's like, guys, what is happening? Like, and this is the thing, I really want to know what Western Decline thinks about this, because it's nice. You have a place to stay. Like, from your own personal, my lens, my Zoomer lens, my personal selfish perspective, it's nice. I have a place to stay. I more or less kind of have like a deposit given to me, like, just, I'm not saying monthly, but just randomly my parents will give me some money just to take care of something. Now I do have to spend that on some things useful to me, like if I want to get some course material for like a certification or something like that, like I'd have to use that money for that. But still, I'm getting money I can use to go get food and like all this other stuff, or just whatever, right? But it's not like money I'm going out there and earning. It's kind of coming from my own, I'm eating from my own kin, It's not a good feeling. Like, I don't feel good about it. And I'm worried about this because I'm more thinking about like my millennial sister, man, because she's been on the boomer welfare longer than I have. And I think she has absolutely zero intention of getting off of it. I even heard as much as my sister, she basically took like a graduate, I don't want to say which exam, but she took a very like high level, well-respected graduate school exam, right? Like an admissions exam for graduate school. And she was telling me about like, yeah, hey, I just like signed up and took this test to kind of fiend to my parents that I'm trying to move on with my life and I'm trying to be proactive. So my sister has all intentions of kind of more or less staying where she is and remaining on this boomer welfare, keeping her apartment in Brooklyn, her apartment, expensive New York City area apartment, like this is crazy, guys. Like, this is what it's come to now, where it's like, and I'm wondering how many young people around you guys do you're hearing about situations like this, where it's like, it's straight up their parents are just giving them money. I don't know, it's really weird. Part of me kind of doesn't feel too bad about it, because it is one of the like fortunate things I have, right? I want to kind of cling to those. I'm very thankful to God. I'm beyond grateful for the few fortunate things I have. So when you consider like my father's a high earner, boomer high earner. He actually has people like on a payroll kind of thing, so he makes good money, like comfortably above six figures. I'm not gonna say any beyond that. But the point is, guys, I know, and then my mother's a retired teacher. So what these boomers do often is they get one of those nice kind of semi-cushy jobs. Not like a teacher's a super cushy job, but it obviously does have a good pension and retirement plan set up. There's like, the teachers credit unions, all that other baloney, right? And one thing that's crazy is these boomers, they collect their pension, but then they also collect Social Security when they get older. So it's like, by doing nothing, I'm telling you guys, it's like they're making $70K a year salary by doing nothing. Like some of these boomers, right? They're getting like, what is it? Like 4K in cash or something every month or something like that. Beyond crazy, guys. It's a fucking corrupt system. We know that we're not going to be the beneficiaries of any of that kind of system when we're old. We know about demographics destiny. It's all kind of a ruse. So part of me almost feels like me not pulling from, or like me pulling from the boomer welfare. It's not even like a thing to feel bad about. The other thing too is like, my plan is to get off the boomer welfare. Obviously, I'm just kind of career maxing right now and trying to stay low key. Getting these certifications up, not just, not doing anything stupid, staying in decent shape, continuing to do lean max maintenance and stuff like that, staying, like, just holding on to what copes I have and not doing anything too stupid beyond that, and career maxing at the same time. That's kind of what I've been on. I probably will get on some social circle maxing in the future, and I'll report on how that goes. But I had some like situation where I just kind of like I was feeling really broke. Like I had a lot of stocks I didn't want to sell, and I finally kind of changing course on that, and I finally feel like I have money again. After some market action has happened, right? So yeah, I feel like I can go out and do social circle maxing again. But man, like this boomer welfare, I'm hoping I'm just on it temporarily. I don't feel particularly good about being on it. And I would obviously feel a lot better about having something like Gibbs. Like if I was on Gibbs, I'd feel a ton better about the situation because I'm not eating from my kin. I'm taking from the state, like a corrupt state I hate, kind of. In Minecraft, I hate it, for lack of a better term. But I wonder, like I had situations in life where I had to depart a job. I had, obviously, there was CV-19, right? And I did get the Trump bucks from CV-19. But I don't know, should I have gone for unemployment? I was in grad school, but I wasn't working at the time when CV-19 happened. So I don't know if I would have qualified, but I had no other income, no job. I don't think they let students on unemployment like that. But yeah, guys, I definitely would say, man, if you can kind of make a plan together to get some Gibbs, guys, because boomer welfare isn't bad, but at the end of the day, that's like a potential inheritance you're not getting, every time you take from the boomer welfare. But the other thing I will say is, I can't even 100% count on my boomer parents for any kind of inheritance. I feel like they almost kind of hold it over my head, or they talk about they just want to vacation max and spend it all, or they talk about how much money they spend on my schooling and stuff, and they're like, I don't think you should get it's a lot of money. This is but yeah, guys, I don't know, I just kind of think we're moving more and more into this future where the Zoomers and all these guys, what are supposed to be the next generation of fully fledged adults and figurehead members of society, it's going to be more and more of a have and have not situation. And the ones that have are going to be people who had ties and tethers to the times of the boomer wealth accumulation. I'm talking about that period, anywhere from after the 1980 stock crash up until when the music came off in the 2000. Honestly, no, beyond that. Anywhere from the 1980 stock crash up until basically today. Anyone involved in the assets, real estate, anything like that up until that time, which is going to be the boomers, the motherfuckers who were fucking alive during that period of time. So that's the situation I think we're in. You can't, these people say stuff like the market, you buy an index fund, you can expect 10% returns per year. 10%? Maybe in the before times, the idea that that's just going to continually happen and that's a guaranteed rate of return is fucking ludicrous. I think the more normal standard would be saying 8%. I think more realistic, guys, we're going to have 4 to 5%. We're going to be a fucking third world economy. So, that's how I'm feeling about stuff right now, guys. I think it's more and more we're going into this world of haves and have-nots. And I think a lot of these homeless guys that you see and stuff, they're people who didn't have access to that boomer pie. They had a family member who was on drugs, who died early, all this kind of stuff, guys. And it's really sad, but that's the family pill. That's the luck location pill. You can go really into the deep in the weeds on this stuff. But yeah, what do you guys think about boomer welfare? Let me know in the comment section below. Little Broomstick signing out. Peace.